hello and welcome to Flights of Fandom, the show where we create improvised fan fiction using tabletop RPGs. I'm David, he, him. I'm a graphic designer and an illustrator and a game designer. If you want to check out my game stuff, you can go over to dbb-8.itch.io, and I will be your GM for this new series that we're starting on. This week, we are kicking off a new flight in the Star Wars universe. We'll be playing a game called Scum Villainy, which is an RPG of daring space scoundrels based on the Blades in the Dark system. Let's kick it off first by introducing our players for this flight, starting with Hopper.
What's up, y'all? I'm Hopper. I use they, them pronouns, and I can be found around the interwebs when I'm feeling feisty, which is all the time, at Fail Deadly, and that is with a 3 instead of an E, because, as we all know, I'm a bad person. And also I can be found at The Legend Tree, where I'm eventually going to post, like, real adult stuff. Like, not that kind of adult, though. You know how it is.
All right, moving over to Marcy.
Hey guys, it's me, Marcy, aka Experimental Madness, and you can usually find me around the internet under that name or under Marciful on Twitter, where you'll catch me maybe once in a while, who knows? And you can usually spot me on this here channel, either playing Flights of Fandom or our every other Sunday show, The Hole in the World.
All right, and Puja?
Hi, I'm Puja, and you can find me on the internet at Puja on Twitter and at Pujabberwocky on Instagram. And Pujabberwocky is spelled the way my Twitch handle is, if you are in the Twitch chat, which I hope you are, because we love to chat with you there. And my pronouns are she, her. And I am very excited to be I feel like this is always my job, to be the mostly a noob in the fandom. Except Harry Potter. Now that one I owned. But this, yeah, it's just I've seen the movies and we're running.
Off we go.
Yep.
All right, and finally Wesley.
Hi, I'm Wesley. Any pronoun will work. New to Flight to Fandom. Had a little chance to meet the crew earlier, watch some of their other streams. Really excited to join a flight. Happy to be here.
All right. So, as this is a Star Wars game, we're going to kick it off with a classic Star Wars opening crawl.
Oh my god.
Let's launch in. We'll be back in a second. And with that, we begin our episode.
My heart is full.
That's it. It's done. There's nothing. We can't come back from this.
Oh my god.
We peaked.
All right. We're going to start, of course, with our view moving down across the stars, and we see these lazily drifting, tumbling asteroids, these massive pieces of rock drifting through space. And then, vroom, vroom, 2 starships zoom into view, one firing volleys of lasers at the other. The lead ship is a medium-sized, saucer-shaped vessel with these 2 cylindrical engines on either side. This is the Longshot. Followed by a slightly larger and slightly more heavily armed vessel in hot pursuit. We're going to move to the interior of the Longshot and meet our cast. Let's start in the cockpit and work our way back through the ship. So, who's in the cockpit of the Longshot right now? You're being chased, lasers are being fired at you, and you're in a desperate run to escape these pursuers.
I'm going to take a wild guess and say that this is a good time to introduce your pilot for this evening.
I would say so, yeah.
All right. So you see, probably, I'm going to say, in her element, Zethu Desh. Currently straining against the controls. She's trying to give her baby enough time to get away from this ship. She is a almost middle-aged Arcanian offshoot woman. And now if you're not a crazy Star Wars nerd like me, let me perhaps give you some more explanation.
Please.
She is albino, completely devoid of color in skin and eyes. There's just some gray light in her eyes and silver hair. She's gritting her finely shaven to points teeth, perhaps drawing a small trickle of blood as it cuts her lower lip as she's concentrating very hard and maneuvering. She is a hardened lady. She's got a couple of silvery scars dotting across her face and her hands. She's wearing a flight jacket. It's old. Looks like it's probably been stolen from somebody somewhere at some point in time, but it still fits, so it still works. Currently, she punches a couple of controls and swings the Longshot in an arc to get the ship trying to go blasting backwards so she can get the pursuer in line with her guns.
Fantastic. Zethu, tell me, who's somebody who you have seriously pissed off in the past?
I pissed off might be the shorter list, but in I've made a few enemies. I've got some issues with my home planet in Arcania. I may have a couple of lifelong bounties out from the very, very big, very, very powerful Addis Corp corporation that, like the ones that are responsible for creating most of the Bacta tanks in the galaxy. Arcanians and Arcanian offshoots have got a lot of beef. So, I don't really care that I kind of pissed them off. Do you think that's who's out for us, or do you think it's one of my other very many people that might not like Zethu for numerous reasons?
Well, what do you think? Who's your best guess?
Well, I may have taken a few supplies from the Pike Syndicate without necessarily saying anything recently, and they might not like that.
All right. So let's say the Pike Syndicate is those are the people that Zethu has most recently ticked off here.
It's a living.
Yeah. Let's move over to Cheekra. Cheekra, where are you in the ship?
Cheekra is struggling to hit the unmute button on his collar. But, Cheekra is probably. I'm looking at our little ship thing. Cheekra is probably hanging out wherever we've been storing our weapons. And you just see.
Would you be like manning the ship's guns? Do you think?
Quite possibly. I mean, do we have?
Are you
like
arming
point
up?
Defense? Do we have point defense?
So you
Yeah.
have laser cannons, and I believe you have front-mounted laser cannons and a turret.
Oh, Cheekra's all up in that turret.
Great. Okay.
Dear God.
So tell us about Cheekra. Let's get a description. Who do we see in the
Well,
turret?
first I'm going to issue a formal apology to everybody. I'm so sorry. So you see a about 3 feet tall with a dark rusty cowl covering their fuzzy head, and wearing what appears to be like this scraped together blast armor that's scarred and scratched and rather like it's very piecemeal. You see a gray furred Ewok who with a number of like a couple big scars across their face. It looks like they have some pretty severe wounds on the burn scars on the left side of their neck and down into the other down underneath the armor. You see them just kind of like grimacing and kind of occasionally growling as they're manning this. I'm kind of imagining one of the swivel ball turrets, a la
totally.
Millennium Falcon-esque. It was just like, oh, I'm gonna fucking get you, you little bastards. Cheekra does not play games with stupid pirates. There's just a lot of like very lowly, growly talking to themselves. Some ear twitching. Yeah, that's my disaster, baby.
Amazing. So, tell me, Cheekra, who have you seriously pissed off most recently?
Once again, we're gonna circle back to the list is much shorter of who I haven't pissed off.
Sure,
But,
if you had to
Cheekra-
if you had to venture a guess of who might be pursuing you for something that you've done.
There was a recent incident that Cheekra may have been involved in, may have been the instigator, that involved the complete destruction of an Imperial base and all its remnants and everybody in it via asteroid drop. That might have upset some people, including the Republic, because asteroid drops are super illegal.
Do you think that the Republic is more upset with you, or do you think that the Imperial remnant is more upset with you?
I think that the Imperial
somebody
remnants
else.
probably.
Who knows?
I mean, honestly, that was a lot of damage. It could be anybody.
Great.
It will take them all.
Okay. So let's move on over to our doctor, Dr. Pilsnerg. Where are you in the ship during this chase?
Pilsnerg, Dr. Pilsnerg is probably out in the quarters, trying to hold down whatever he can from the recent maneuver our pilot just took,
Sure.
successfully or not. He is a about middle-aged, maybe a little younger, human male, wearing clothing that you can tell was maybe several years ago very nice, maybe something remnant of maybe I want to say noble, but noble-esque would wear, but is clearly
Sure.
torn and tattered and
is there a
beaten
cape?
up. No capes. No
Okay.
capes.
Listen,
Edna would be
nobles in Star
proud.
Wars wear capes. It's a thing.
Yeah, he's trying to hold on, and he might be a little worried. He might be a little worried about getting shot at right now. He's not. He won't even try to hide it.
Yeah, well,
He's
let's
nervous.
let's dig into that worry a little bit. Dr. Gom, who have you most recently pissed off who might be trying to hunt you down at high speed through this asteroid belt currently?
Well, coming recently from a job doing medical, procedure for the Hutt cartel, while they wouldn't be mad at him, maybe some of their rivals might be. But he is his biggest lookout. Anybody intertwined in any way with the Corellian government. After a misunderstanding, he lost his medical license and had to flee Corellia before his trial got to fruition. And he's been on the run ever since. So it could be a bounty hunter looking to take him into Corellia.
Okay. And finally, I think we move back through the quarters. I would expect to the engine room to meet Ahesha. Ahesha, where are you, and who do we see?
As you go to the engine room, under one of the largest mechanisms in the room, you see a pair of ripped jumpsuit legs sticking out, and as time goes on,
are the jumpsuit legs ripped or are the legs ripped?
Well, the jumpsuit legs are definitely ripped. The underlying legs are scabbed, but you might not be able to tell because of her skin color. But speaking of her skin color, you see a tall Togruta woman emerge, and she has I think they're called montrals and tails, but blue and white, a very large, it's part of her body, but it looks like a headpiece. And she has very deep burnished copper skin. And as she, even despite her size, she looks pretty strong for how lithe her frame is. But despite her size, she moves around the room very light on her feet, very adept, and she has a constant hand on a comm panel, which you hear is connected directly to the cockpit.
Great.
And she's in constant communication with Zethu.
Awesome. Ahesha, who have you most recently pissed the living shit out of?
Well, if you ask her,
who would you guess
wasn't her
is
fault.
Following you?
It wasn't her fault, for starters. Okay. Ahesha has a long line of people behind her who she has loved and left, and some take it better than others. And unfortunately for her, one of the people who took it not as great as others was the daughter of one of the main families of the Crimora Syndicate. Crimora, I don't know how to pronounce that. So even though Ahesha did fix the ship they hired her to fix, the daughter might have taken a giant crowbar to it and blamed Ahesha for it, and Ahesha knows when there's not a battle she can win, and so she had to leave. And depending on just how vindictive this young woman felt, she could have said, Daddy and his minions after her. Totally possible.
All right. So we have 4 rogues, 4 scoundrels here in the Longshot. 4 people with, let us say complicated pasts. But you're only being pursued by one ship. So let's find out who that is. We're going to make a roll. I've numbered from 1 to 4. Each of your characters and each of the people who may be following you in this chase. Who wants to roll a d4 and find out Who is chasing ya?
I love rolling dice. Woo! Okay, into the dice tower we go. That is a 2.
A 2. All right. So let's cut back to the let's cut back to the cockpit. It looks like you Zethu, you see a figure, a head pop up on the holo in the sort of center console of the Longshot's cockpit, and it is it's sort of a grizzled looking, we'll say a grizzled looking Rhodian. It's one of those green bug-eyed guys. I think this guy has like an eye patch.
Massive eye patch?
Yeah, like a massive giant eye patch over one of his big old bug eyes, and a big scar running down, like straight down the side of his face. And he says to you, Desh, we know it's you. You can't flee from the Pike Syndicate forever.
I didn't say it had to be forever. And like she's already done. Have I successfully turned my ship around so that they're in firing range?
Let's find out. Give me a roll. So how are you doing this?
Well, you hit the brakes and then you hit the thrusters pretty hard as you arc the ship up and over. Oldest trick in the book.
Cool. So the way that actually let's call this the engagement roll then. So in Scum and Villainy, the first thing you do in any job, which is what we're going to be calling any sort of part of the mission, any action sequence like this, is you do an engagement roll, and that sets up what your position is at the beginning of the job. So, the engagement roll, you start out with 1d6. This is a d6 based game, so we're going to be rolling pools of d6s. So you get 1 to start, and we're going to give you an additional d6 for each advantage that you set up, and we're going to take away a d6 for each disadvantage. So, I think based on major advantages and disadvantages in Scum and Villainy, is this operation particularly bold or daring? 100%. Take an extra d6. I think there's information about friends and enemies. If your friends are helping you out, you get a d6. If your enemies are interfering with you, you take away a d6. So we're back to 1 because your enemies are actively pursuing you right now.
That's fair.
But I'm gonna kick you 1 forward because you've just done this deft maneuver with your ship, and you are, of course, an ace pilot. So we're at 2d6 for our engagement roll total. So give me a roll, and we'll see what happens.
There's a 5.
Okay, that's a good start. So we're looking for 1 to 3 are bad results. You don't want them. 4s and 5s are mixed. Things are risky, which is the default, and 6s are good. You're in a good position to start out with. Get more than 1 6, you're getting a critical, and then you get some extra bonus to what's going on. So what are we looking at?
I have a 1 and a 5.
A 1 and a 5. Okay, so we're at a 5. Mixed result. So you're in a risky position when the action starts. So I think So I think we see you. You pull back, and the ship goes swooping up. Are you trying to go? What's your goal? What are you trying to do here? Describe the maneuver in more detail for me.
I want to angle it so that I can get him ahead of my ship, and so he's positioned in front of my guns, so I can blast him out of the sky.
Cool. So let's say you're sort of trying to bring the ship up such that Cheekra in the turret maybe would have a really good angle direct on this ship.
Yeah.
So we see your ship sort of swoop up as you sort of like narrowly dodge an asteroid that's coming, and now you are directly lined up with this Corvette vessel. This is a big metal wedge of a ship with some big powerful engines, and it has several side-mounted laser cannons that are firing at you all the time. So the advantage of this is you've set Cheekra up for a good shot. The disadvantage here is that you've made yourself a bigger target because you've had to temporarily expose the saucer cross-section of the ship rather than the narrow like horizontal cross-section that they were chasing you on before. So what do you do?
Am I still on comms with the Rhodian?
Yeah.
He knows my name. Do I know his?
Okay, let's do another roll for this. We're gonna make a fortune roll to see if you know this Rhodian. So fortune rolls actually work very similar to an engagement roll. We were gonna be just rolling a one die for each trait that applies in this situation. So I think this is probably sorry, I don't have a list of the traits in front of me. So this is probably your social trait. I think that's I'm sorry, I forget what it is. It's the third one down in the list.
Command
or consort of sway?
I mean the trait that embodies us. Yeah, I'll bring
Resolve.
Resolve. Okay, so you're rolling with your resolve here.
Got 2 of those.
Great. Okay. So give me a 2d6 roll.
Not good. A 3 and a 1.
Okay. So let me ask you this question. Is it better for Zethu if this is a known person, or is it better for Zethu if this is not a known person?
That's irrelevant. I was just curious.
Okay. So we'll say you do not know this Rhodian.
But she's just on the comm then, as she's like pulling back and making this like maneuver that she's like just pulling off kind of by the skin of her teeth as she does everything else, and she's just like and she's just like fiddling with everything. I bet someone like your rank in the syndicate, I'm willing to bet you've got a few bounties on you too. If I take your tags from off of your cold corpse by the time that we blasted your ship out of the sky, I think I'm gonna make a little bit more money out of this arrangement. And then she like taps the comm link. Whenever you're ready, Cheekra.
All right, cut to the turret. Cheekra, what are you doing?
Start blasting. So anyways.
Start blasting.
So anyways, then I started blasting.
Okay, so this is going to be our first action roll of the job. So action rolls have a little more in the way of fiddly bits, which we will go through. So step 1, you tell me what you want to do. Good, we've accomplished that.
Murder. Murder is what I would like to accomplish.
Yes.
No, I can hear you.
Me too. Oh. Let me ask.
Yeah, I just heard the music go up.
Oh, yep.
There it is.
Oh,
Cannot wait for Cheekra to destroy all the things.
Okay, I believe I am back. Let me just check.
Chat, please confirm.
Yeah. Let me just check the levels on this.
give us a thumbs up.
Okay. I think we're good.
Hooray!
There is no music, however.
One crisis at a time.
Yeah. Is there music for the stream? There is not music on the stream, I'm seeing. That also cut out. Oh.
Oh,
Apparently,
Stream has music?
that's just us. Weird.
we'll live.
Okay. Well, it's also no longer showing up in my
Ooh, we have mysterious music. I love it. Uncontrollable. It bows to no
Phantom
one.
Music. Phantom music.
hold for
Open
technical.
page.
Do.
Everyone hears it.
I'm making the music now.
For other
we-
folks like me who are in Texas or are in Louisiana, stay safe out there.
Oh, yeah. There it is.
Yay!
Okay.
Rested control.
Music should be back for everybody.
We just cut to a montage of Cheekra just calibrating.
Yeah.
And
Stop
calibrating.
calibrating the engines and fire.
Okay, so I was explaining action rolls. So, Cheekra, you have described what you want to do. You're now going to pick which action you want to take to accomplish that. This is your choice, what you want to roll with. I have, recommendations for you, certainly, but it is up to you.
Okay. So this is an action.
Yeah.
If I didn't have that list right in front of me like a good person, what's that action?
So what
are my options?
what you most likely want to do is scrap here.
Okay, those
this
are my
is
actions. Yes.
This is your action for getting into it with an opponent in a blaster fight, physical combat, or either a melee or ranged fight. This is the fight action.
I've got 2 points in that.
Cool. Okay, so you're going to start by taking 1 die per action dot. So if you have 2, you get 2d6 to start. You have some additional options here, but let me tell you about your position and your effect right now. So. So after you tell me what action you want to take, I'm going to set the position, which is about how well positioned you are to act. The positions are risky is the default. By default, an action is risky, but you might be in a position that's a little more controlled, or you might be in a position that's a little more desperate, depending on the situation. Right now, I think you're right in the middle at that risky position. Zethu has put you in a good spot for a shot, but this is also a fast-moving space fight, so that those two sort of things balance each other out, and you're in a risky position. Your effect is what comes out on the other end, on the other side of the roll, which is all about how effective you are at doing what you set out to do. So your goal is to blast the other ship. The other ship, I will tell you, has a clock for its hull integrity. In Scum and Villainy, we're going to use clocks, which are circles divided into a set number of segments to track progress as the team tries to complete tasks in their mission. So there is a 6-segment clock to destroy this ship. I will also tell you that there are a pair of 4-segment clocks to outrun it. 1 clock for you, 1 clock for the Pike Syndicate Corvette. If you are able to fill up the hull integrity clock through your actions, through successful action rolls, you will blow up the pursuing ship. If you are able to fill up the Longshot's clock to escape, you will successfully outrun them. If they are able to fill up their clock to catch up with you, they're gonna get you. So,
This is unacceptable.
yeah. So again, destroying them outright is a 6-segment clock. Escaping is a 4. So, what you will be able to do, based on all the factors in play right now, is you will be able to tick one segment on the clock to strip out the hull integrity of the pursuing Corvette and blow them up. You can modify what I have told you in the following ways. You can gain a die if you push yourself, or if you accept a devil's bargain, which we are going to call, for the purposes of our Star Wars game, a dark side bargain. So, if you push yourself, you pay 2 stress, and then you get the die. If you take the devil's bargain, I'm going to tell you something that we're going to make it a little spicy. You get a little extra, but things are going to get a little more complicated for you in some fashion. You can also gain a die by spending a gambit, which is a resource, the pooled resource that the crew has.
So question, is this ship damaged at all?
Not yet.
Or is it vulnerable in any way?
Is it vulnerable in
Since
any
we just did a fancy maneuver.
Yeah, I mean, it's you're able to shoot it because of the fancy maneuver.
But are we calling that vulnerable?
That's as vulnerable as it's gonna get right in this moment, unless there's something else that you want to.
I just have an ability. If it's one of Cheekra's abilities is Predator. Take +1 dice to rolls against weakened or vulnerable targets, and whenever you gather information on a weakness or vulnerability, the worst you can get is a 4 or 5 result.
I think you don't have any information on a specific weakness or vulnerability right now. If you want, you can attempt to inspect the ship or try to learn something about it, but that's going to be a separate roll to set that up. Yeah.
Would that take the place of murder?
It would.
Rolls?
It would for this moment. Yes.
Commence the murder.
Well, I have a thing
Yeah.
for this. Although you could tell me that it's only when I'm firing guns, of which I have a different set in the cockpit. But I have something called Keen Eye. You have sharp eyes and notice small details many might overlook. Gain +1 die when firing ship guns or making trick shots.
Ooh, interesting.
Would I have set this up in such a way that I noticed the vulnerability in the ship's hull?
You might, but that's, I think, going to kick forward for a future
Got
shot
it.
that you can take.
I was just wondering if I could push that down the line.
Yep. Yeah, you can definitely bring that into play.
Okay.
You just got to set it up first. Similarly, Cheekra with you.
So I can't grant it to someone. Got it.
Yeah, it's definitely to you, for sure.
All right. So I'm just gonna roll 2 dice. Let's see what vanilla
Okay.
Cheekra can pull off.
Let's see how it goes.
That's a fucking a 5.
Now, for our viewing audience at home, if you would care to elucidate us on the fuck.
I am using dice that have rather delightfully have fuck instead of a 1. That is a 1 and a 5.
Mind, I think a visual would be fun for everybody.
There's a rather lovely Kickstarter a while back for these bad boys.
All right. So, a 5. So you're in a risky position, and this is head-to-head acting under fire. A 4 or 5, you do it, but there's a consequence. You're going to suffer harm, a complication, there's reduced effect, or you are going to end up in a desperate position. And I think this is just as straightforward as you're able to get this shot off. It hits, but one of their shots is going to hit the long shot. Now, further shit in Scum and Villainy, I've just told you a consequence, which you have the ability to roll and pay some stress to resist, to make it just not happen straight up. This is at your choosing, though.
How much stress does that take?
So when you make a roll to resist, you are going to resist. You're going to, similar to what we did at the top, you're going to pick one of your attributes to resist, and then you're going to count up the dots for that. You roll it, and then you take 6 stress minus your highest die result for that roll.
Okay. Can I also use scrap to resist?
So to resist, you're going to be using your attributes, your insight, prowess, or resolve.
Okay, great. So I'm going to have to ask a question that I should have already asked.
Yeah.
I start with how many of those bars filled? Is that just as how many points I have in different abilities within that attribute?
Yes.
All right, dope. I'm definitely
okay.
using prowess.
So your bar, the horizontal bars are the experience points that you have dumped into there. You're counting up the dots vertically under each.
Oh,
attribute.
vertically. Okay.
Yeah.
Do I have XP in that or no?
You should not at this point.
Okay, dope. All right, so vertically, the most I have 3 and 2.
Okay. So again, this is a you tell me thing. So which one do you have the most in, and how do you want to use that to resist the effect?
Prowess. I will use prowess. I think Cheekra is going to attempt to hit their gun one of their guns before it can hit us.
Okay, that's super cool. Yeah. All right. So give me that resistance roll. You have.
All right.
Yeah, you have 3 d6.
That is unideal. That is a 3, a 2, and a 3.
Oof.
Okay, so you're gonna have to pay 3 stress to resist this.
Yep. 3 stress is marked off.
Okay, but you do it. What does this look like as you fire off these laser rounds directly into one of their side-mounted laser cannons?
You just see Cheekra's ears kind of pinned back as they're using a gun that is designed for something a lot bigger than them, and you just see as like their entire body is vibrating with the controlling the double dead man switch of this big fuck off anti-air laser gun. And what color? I guess that's a Marcy question. What color are our lasers?
Yeah,
I don't know if I can dye photon lasers.
I mean, it's Star Wars. We can do whatever we want.
So I think somebody can correct me if I'm wrong here. I believe in the movies, the Rebels have red and the Imperials have green lasers.
Yep, that is correct.
That is how laser tag works.
In the
yes.
prequels, they add blue in.
Yeah.
Just to get fancy. Sometimes there's yellow.
Yeah.
I think that the Lancer being it's usually more of a freighter class ship. It's not really supposed to be utilized in wartime. I probably have yellow
Cool.
Lasers.
Yellow lasers. I'm right now.
Following my Star Wars logic.
Yep. Makes sense to me. Laser cannons, yellow flavor.
Yeah, write that down. They're lemon starburst.
Delicious.
Yes. The second best starburst.
Y'all are weird.
We're not getting this discussion on stream.
Speaking of starbursts, the yellow lasers go whizzing through the vacuum of space and
That's what I meant.
slam into the side-mounted laser cannons in this Pike Syndicate Corvette, which just boom, boom, explode in huge fiery balls of fire. I couldn't.
The camera just pans in, and you see the explosion reflected in Chica's big golden eyes.
Yeah, and I think on the holo, Zethu, you can see the guy that Rhodian kind of wince and go to the side as his ship is hit. He says to you, "Listen, Desh, we're not playing around here."
Neither am I. You know me. Have I ever played around when there's been credits on the line?
All right. Ahesha, let's cut to you. What are you up to?
Just making sure things are running smoothly, but she will tap the comm after Cheekra fires. SA. So we're fighting, not running?
Where's that comm going to?
To you.
Okay. I'm weighing my options. I think we can probably get ourselves some extra payday on this gig if we take out these guys, and it's one less extra case on my back. I don't know. If it gets too difficult, we can always turn around, sweetheart.
All right. Do you want me to prep the ship to Rabbit if we need to?
Always.
All right.
And I think Zeth is already like getting some numbers in. And just because I want to get this character rolling and say, hey, LS, let's start getting some coordinates for a quick jump out of here if things get too dicey. She is, of course, talking to her droid that is the real manager on this ship.
Yeah, where's the droid? Is the droid in the cockpit next to you, elsewhere?
Well, David, how would you like the actual Longshot to be? I think that it might be a little attached to the ship itself while it's on deck.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, so is this... are you imagining like an astromech droid that attaches itself into, like, physically hooks into the ship? Is there a different style that we want?
Yeah, let's say we got a little purple, let me see, is it like I think at this point we might have an R4 unit.
Okay. I'm gonna write this down. So do we want to call this like R4LS?
Yeah.
Is that cool?
BLS for Longshot.
All right. So I think sort of in the back side of the cockpit, R4LS is sort of hooked into the ship and the navigational computers back there. And she sort of swivels her little astromech dome around and says to you, "Listen, sweetie, I'm trying the best I can here, okay? I'm giving it all I got, but to be fair, you and your friends are the ones who got into this situation in the first place, and I'll do whatever it takes to bail you out, okay? But this one's on you, kid."
It's always on me, but if you want to actually not be spare parts, I suggest you also get some coordinates together. Let's do this. She's trying to maneuver the ship around away some of the incoming asteroids and also angle, seeing what Cheekra just did, trying to get the ship in line to possibly hit the other gun to cripple the cruiser.
We only have one set of cannons on this ship, right?
Else.
Yeah, so
Yes.
you have
We
a
have
pair of
forward-facing.
forward-mounted laser cannons, and you have the turret on the top.
Okay, well then, is Captain is Zethu firing the forward ones, or
That's
So there's
that's your call.
Currently, we're in a chase configuration, right?
Yeah, I think Zethu is predominantly focused on angling the ship and
Yeah.
possibly being the one to jump to light speed if we need to. get out
okay?
of
So
here.
we're facing. Oh wait, the forward cannons are not facing the ship tailing us,
Two of them have the
unless they can
ability to
turn around.
Yeah, two of them have the ability to. Two of them do not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright. No, yeah, I was just wondering if Ahesha should go man any other weapons.
I mean, you could run up and take the co-pilot seat, or you could do something to, get a little more juice out of the long shot for these tricky maneuvers.
Okay, I can see if I can bypass the. I feel like what would be something someone in my position would do? Bypass some sort of safety feature that slows your ass down.
Yeah, sure.
The precautionary beta circuit.
Yeah, you want to
that thing.
reroute the compressors so that we can make the calculations faster so we can get the jump started faster. Yeah.
That thing. Yes.
Amazing.
I do the beep
Every-
beep boop boop boop.
All right.
Everybody
so-
knows you need pressure to do calculations.
Yeah, I'm spouting the same jargon that they do, and it doesn't make any sense when they do it either.
Exactly.
So you
Also, I
got
love
a
that.
few,
Gonna
My droid is
bypass
from
the
Brooklyn.
thingamablobber to the thingamajig. And as a result, we will be faster.
Yep.
If I pull it off.
great. So you have a couple of options for actions here. My likely recommendations are you could hack if you're going to do this through the computer system and try to reroute the power by coding by rerouting it through the computer. If you're going to physically take tools to the ship and actually pull apart power conduits and snap them together.
Yeah, Ahesha's pulling cables out.
That
And,
would be more of a rig situation, I think.
Yeah, muscling
man.
them into something else.
I think if you still have the comms on the line, Zeth can hear that, and she's like, "What are you doing to my ship?"
You'll thank me later.
She's really tugging on it. She's just really going for it. All right, so let's get an action roll to rig here, I think.
Okay, so I have two. I have 3 insight total, but I have 2 in rig specifically.
Mm-hmm. All right. So
Which one do I roll?
so if you have 2 in rig, you're rolling 2d6 to start.
Okay.
And this is going to be a risky position. You're trying to do this quickly, but you are also a very competent mechanic.
Okay.
Your effect for this, I think you are. I think you're doing a setup action here. So your effect will be anybody who follows through on this maneuver that you're attempting will either have +1 effect or improved position, their choice.
Okay. All right. 2d6s. The highest one is a 4.
All right. Also remember, you can take additional d6s if you push yourself or if you ask me for a devil's bargain.
So are 4 and 5 basically the same?
4 and 5 are the same, yes. 4 and 5 are both a mixed success.
Okay. I'll take the mixed success at this point. I'm gonna
Okay,
save
cool.
myself. I'm gonna push myself when it matters.
All right. So I'm gonna say you are you're pulling these cables apart. You're rerouting things manually. You have
Open switches.
you have some sort of Star Warsy tool with too many prongs, an aluminum thing with too many prongs stuck in your teeth. that you're occasionally whipping out, and there's sparks flying everywhere because you're doing this where all the wires are live.
At one point, you see her. She's basically almost upside down on top of something, like putting it together. Like her leg is like balanced against something up there. It's a dance back there.
Yeah. So you're gonna be able to do this. But as you go to like tighten tighten something in so that the contact is in there good, there's a big burst of sparks, and you're going to have let's say level 1 harm coming your way, unless you would like to resist that consequence.
Sure.
All right. So, this sparking thing is about to burn you a little bit. How are you going to resist? Your options are insight, prowess, or resolve.
Prowess. I'm gonna try to scramble out of its way.
Yeah, cool. So you're just trying to move quickly to avoid it. Great.
Mhm.
So give me a resistance roll. However many dots you have vertically in prowess is your number of dice. Your number of d6s.
All right, I've got 3 prowess. Highest is a 5.
Ooh, very good. Okay. So you're going to it's going to be 6 stress minus your highest result. So you're going to take 1 stress to avoid that consequence. And this panel shoots out these very hot blue sparks, but you manage to duck out of the way just in time, and you just look cool as you're like coming out of this this open panel with all these sparks flying around you. You have now. So your goal was to get more power to the hyperdrive, yes?
No, my goal was to make us better at the tricky maneuvers,
Okay,
not to get out of there. Yeah. And even though no one can hear me, I say, "And this is why the ladies and gents love me."
I can hear you. You
Oh,
still
okay.
have the comms live. Zethu
Well, I'm
doesn't
sure if
say-
anyone else has the comms up, they
Yeah,
can hear
honey, the channel is just open. It's
literally-
permanently open. Every
then she
time you
says-
say something like that, I hear it.
And then all you hear Ahesha say is, "I said what I said."
You just hear like Zethu snort, laugh.
I mean, I wasn't arguing with her. I was just stating a fact.
So was I.
All right. So,
All right, lovebirds.
Zethu, you're set up for a killer maneuver, but I want to pop over to Dr. Gom. What are you doing right now? The ship is you're in the you're
poor
in sort
Doc.
of the main the central area of the ship, the main kind of everything lounge quarters room, and the ship is going all over the place. You're being bounced around everywhere. What are you doing?
Well, so Gom clearly does not have his space legs, doing his best to stay upright or not against the wall, I suppose. Is there, say, any windows or any way for Gom to like look outside and maybe look back at the frigate, you said? Back at the ship pursuing us?
Yeah, sure. If you like duck into one of the sort of side rooms, like a bunk, there's sort of like a small side window that just like you're at the edge of the ship, so this room kind of like the wall curves a little bit, and there's a small thin horizontal window that just curves around the edge of the room a little bit, and it's sort of slightly towards the back side of the ship, so you can look out and you can see the pursuing craft.
Sure, yeah. So he's gonna try to crawl his way over there, and he's going to see if he can spot anything with the ship, that any information about how they're flying or kind of where they're aiming or what their trajectory is that would be either beneficial to Zethu or Cheekra.
Yeah, totally. That you can then relay to them.
Right, yeah.
Okay, so you are trying to you're trying to gather some info. You've already told me what it is you wanna figure out. How are you doing this? What action do you want to pick for this?
I was hoping hoping I could kind of study their patterns,
Yeah.
if there are any.
Yeah, so you're just sort of carefully trying your best to, as this space battle is going, carefully look out and see what you can see about the way this ship is maneuvering.
Yeah.
Or any sort of characteristics of it. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so let's do an action roll to study this ship out the window. However many dots you have in study is going to be your number of d6s for the base roll.
All right. So that would be 1.
All right. So your position right now, I think is a little desperate. You're being bounced all over the place. You're trying to use your carefully honed doctor's mind to do some examinations, but you're nauseous. It's a high stress situation. And the thing that you're looking at is, through the window, just all over the place. There's asteroids whizzing by. So this is going to be a desperate position. Your effect for this will be standard, I think, though.
Well, I'm sorry. Will be what?
Standard. If you succeed, you're going to have. Here's a question: how much does Gom know about ships?
I would say he's far from expert, but he's definitely been in and around them a lot with his time working with the Hutt cartel. So he's kind of seen some ship damage come in, kind of seen pilots fly in and out.
Okay. So you have
above average exposure.
Yeah, you've been exposed to a lot of. This isn't your first spaceship rodeo. Okay, so then standard effect, because you do have some knowledge about ships. You can, as always, push yourself or take a devil's bargain on this if you want.
I think I'll take the stress and push myself.
Okay.
Because one, he's definitely feeling stressed right now, trying to hold position from flying all over the place. And he thinks this is important because he doesn't want to die.
Yeah, valid.
Dying is bad.
All right, so that's 2d6 then.
Let's roll them up and see how you do.
I got a 5 and a 1.
5 and a 1. Okay, so 5 is a mixed success. You do it, but there's going to be a consequence. What should the consequence be for this? So you're able to. I mean, I think honestly, I want the consequence to just be you throw up.
Oh no!
I'm gonna. This is gonna be a level 1 harm that I'm gonna call space sick.
It's gonna call it what?
Space
sick. What? Space.
I was gonna say, as we're like flying past, you just see somebody from the syndicate just flipping you off inside the window.
Yeah. Cool. All right. So Gom, you are able, as you're sort of bucking about, clinging to the, the sort of lower rim of this window, looking out at the ship. You do notice some things. Is there anything that you specifically had in mind that you think Gom would notice that would be useful?
I think he would probably be more exposed to seeing some damage. So if there was any damage on the ship, he'd probably be able to pick it up easier than like their flight pattern.
Cool. Okay. So yeah, you can see from your vantage point that that area where Cheekra blew off the laser cannon, the laser cannon itself, the sort of barrel of it, actually kind of whipped around in the explosion and has scored a long, deep line into the side plating of this ship. which is now a decidedly vulnerable area of the ship.
Cool.
And then you hork.
Yeah. Not even gonna try to resist that one. I think he's just gonna. I think he's just gonna be sick.
Aw. Buddy.
Sorry about the ship.
I'll make you clean it up.
Are you serious? Are you serious?
Do you hork into the mic?
I'm sure we can. I'm sure Zeth can hear it.
Yeah.
It's just like,
As Gom's going over to Cheekra, there's a weak point in the side of the hull's exposed.
bring the shipwreck.
You know,
said.
somebody
it's
has
an easy
to clean
gig,
that
he
up.
said.
I'll clean it.
Let us hope that we do not lose the zero gravity. That would be bad. I do not want that floating around. It gets in the fur. It is very difficult to get out.
So Gom, you're able to call that up to Cheekra. Let's cut back over to Zethu. Zethu, you're set up for a killer maneuver. What do you do?
Yeah. Now that I have like the information on more damage in the hull, like Zethu's got them itchy trigger fingers on the thruster to get us into position. She's got guns. She's got like some laser on the deck of the ship, but the bigger punch is where Cheekra's at, and she'd rather kind of hit this thing and get on with the real job.
I mean, you can whip around and blast all guns if you want.
Yeah, but she we don't have any time anymore, and she's a good feeling about this. And her instincts, well, they're not really wrong, but I really need to make this maneuver count, and we might as well do this now. I'm assuming I need to make another roll to get the ship into proper position, like excellent position.
To do what?
To set Cheekra up for this.
Oh yeah, to set
stunning
Cheekra up
shot.
for another
Would that
shot.
be?
Yeah.
Would that give me an assist dice?
Yeah. So this would be another setup action then.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm allowed to do a devil's bargain for those things.
Yeah.
Let's Zethu feels that adrenaline kind of pumping through her in situations like these. Her instincts tend to take over. That's what she calls them. And when that happens, things go right for her sometimes. Either she gets out of tricky situations or makes impossible shots, or sometimes finds that eye of the needle to get her ship exactly where she needs it to go. She doesn't really know what they are. She just, hey, she's been a bounty hunter for 15 years, and you don't get to be in this job this long if you're not good at something. So let's do a deal with the dark side.
All right. Let me tell you where you stand here. So to start off, the base for this maneuver is you're trying to do something like kind of bonkers.
Yeah.
So the base position for this maneuver is desperate. That has the potential to be moved up to risky. You can either choose improved effect or improved position from Ahesha's power rerouting. So if you improve the position, you'll move it up to risky, which is the normal position. If you choose the increased effect, your effect, I think right now, is standard. You're a good pilot. If you pull this off, you're going to pull it off. But you can use Ahesha's maneuver to bump it up to great effect and do something spectacular and extra. So, which do you want to pick for that?
seeing as this is kind of the, like, I'm not firing the shot, I'm trying to get us into a position so that once the shot is fired, it lands.
Mm-hmm.
I'm unclear if that's an effect or it sounds like position.
So, so this is leading to another setup that that's going to kick over to Cheekra. The way that's going to work is if you do this and you take the effect as standard, it's going to, the setup action is going to set Cheekra up the same way you're being set up right now.
Okay.
If you improve the effect, it's going to set up Cheekra and give him an even better effect.
Well then let's improve that effect.
An even better position or effect.
Got it. Let's improve the effect then. That answers my question.
Cool. Okay. So, so you are at a desperate position, but thanks to Ahesha, you can do this at great effect. You are going to set, if you succeed at this, it will be absolutely perfect in terms of the setup. Now,
okay.
Your position still stands at desperate. Are you interested in improving that?
And I think is this where the devil's bargain is kicking in?
Yes.
All right, let's let those instincts kind of flow with the force.
All right. So the dark side bargain that I'm going to give you here is you will be able you're going to be able to bump up your position in exchange, or you can take another die if you want. You can either bump your position or take another die. In exchange for that, how to describe this pithily? In exchange for that, this is going to exhaust you in a very surprising way. Do you want to take that bargain?
What does that mean? I you know what? I'm gonna do it and then ask what that means mechanically later, because that's Zethu Desh in a nutshell right there. I think this is, in order to keep it narratively sound, this is kind of an action she's taking without knowing she's doing it. Mm-hmm. She never knows how she does these things, and I actually do think some of these things drain her before she even knows how to stop herself.
All right. Do you want the extra die, or do you want better position?
Better position.
Okay. Cool. So you are at risky position. Great effect.
All right.
And you are rolling. What did you decide to roll?
That's a good question. Is this my? What is the exact?
It's probably.
Is it helm?
It's probably helm. If this.
Yeah.
Is
Okay. I have two. I have two in that. Yeah.
Yeah.
A 5 and a 6.
All right.
Ooh.
A 6. You do it. And the crew gains a gambit.
Ooh. Mark that down. Where is that?
So, Zethu, what does this look like? I think we have this sort of bullet time moment. This moment where your hands are on the controls, and things just sort of slow for you and pull back, and you can, like, if you glance out the side of the cockpit, you can just see the laser bolts slowly traveling by you, and you can feel yourself breathe in, and that breath in it feels like you're breathing air into your cells.
Yeah.
Not just into your lungs. You're sort of taking in the ambient energy.
Yeah. I think channeling this kind of like she was the one that was like told to bring the ship for the specific job. This was not part of it. This is a distraction. And she has enough problems with enough enemies on her back to deal with whatever the aging and, you know, not nearly as bad as they were in their heyday Pike Syndicate. And there's a lot of anger. You know, her ship is on the line. This is her baby. And in that inhale, it almost feels as if she's like stuck in that event horizon, entering into a black hole, kind of this energy kind of crushing into the back of her skull that happens so often when she like gets these like what she would call like her instincts into the inside of how to solve a problem. And then like as she releases it, suddenly her it's almost like her body knows exactly what to do and how to manipulate the ship in just a way that she wants it to. And that's when she like time kind of reroutes itself, and her hand is like once again back on the thrusters, and it's just this if you were sick before, Doc, I'm so sorry. She just like lands on it hard, like screaming like upwards, back, jerking to like the right, and like kind of drifts it in space around to the cracked side of the hull on the Syndicate's cruiser. And I think, Cheekra, you know that you have this shot now.
Yeah, and we get a very brief shot
there
of Dr. Gom sliding across the floor of the common area.
Oh no!
And we see the ship wheel around, asteroids and laser fire whizzing past as you are set up with this perfect Cheekra as our view moves to the interior of the turret, the turret cockpit. I don't know.
It's a turret.
Yeah, the turret. We see this perfectly lined up view. You have this beautiful spread of damaged Syndicate Corvette laid out before you. You
just see a wide, toothy grin with very carnivorous teeth, notably, just spread open of this adorable little teddy bear face. Oh, commence the murder, David.
All right.
Commence the murder.
What are you scrapping again here?
Pretty much always.
Great. Okay, so you can either have improved effect or improved position from Zethu's kick-ass maneuver. I'm gonna also say the sort of great effect part of this maneuver is I'm gonna tick 2 segments on the outrun clock for the long shot.
Nice. So we're 50% of the way there.
So if you wanted to flee, you're halfway there because you're so well positioned.
Well, in the meantime, darlings,
in the meantime,
murder.
So your position, Cheekra, your position here is controlled. This is very good for you. You can take the shot exactly as you would like it. Your effect here is going to be standard. The cannons do what they do. However, you do have the information from the doctor about where to aim, which I think will actually bump up your effect. So, yeah. So
and in addition,
and
gives me an extra
effect.
dice. And that also gives me an extra dice because of the Predator feature.
Yep.
Teamwork!
And Cheekra is going. Cheekra will push themselves. Yes. This seems like a push-worthy endeavor. So that's gonna be 4 dice total.
All right. So you have 4. Take that 2 stress.
That's not perfect, but that'll take it. That's a 6, a 4, a 2, and a 1.
Ooh, a 6. So that's what you need. So you are gonna blast the heck out of this Corvette, out of the side of it. I'm gonna say because this is great effect, you're actually gonna be able to do. This is gonna tick their clock for destroying their hull up 3 segments.
Woo!
That puts them at 66% destroyed.
So, Cheekra, tell me what this shot looks like.
So it's just it's a pretty steady stream, but I think you just watch again the kind of maniacal teddy bear ridiculousness of this you just watch this stream of yellow laser bolts. I know. Just slam into the hull and then kind of march up through this area that's already been destroyed, causing explosions in space, and like fragments flying off. And I think you see the gun that was destroyed fully detaches and spins off. It's very dramatic.
Yeah, and there's just this series of blasts all along the side of this thing, and you can see it physically, it lists to the side. It actually sort of starts to turn on its central axis. In the cockpit, Zethu, that Rhodian comes back on the hollow and says, "Oh, God damn it, Desh! Listen, you can take us out, but there'll be more coming. The Pike Syndicate isn't gonna give up. Not for what you did."
Oh, please. Why don't you cry me a river? Listen, you can always surrender.
The guy just curses, "God damn it!" And cuts the holo.
Guess he didn't want to surrender.
All right. So you're in a pretty good position right now to either punch it and get the heck out of there, or to take these guys out. What do you want to do?
All right. Moment of truth, friends. You want what they got, or do we want to get gone? She's just saying this down the line on the comms.
Ahesha pipes in. Well, if they're sending their friends to come after us anyway, might as well get what they got.
Knew there was a reason I liked you.
Were we privy to that conversation? Did that get played over the comms, or?
Yeah.
I've got an open channel.
Okay, so, yeah.
I think unless, going forward, unless somebody says specifically otherwise, let's assume there's an open comm channel across the ship, and anybody who says anything on the ship, anybody else on the ship can hear it.
I'll go one step further and say that knowing the fact that people were going to be on a ship that it's normally just her and LS, Zethu made damn sure that the comms are always open and she can hear whatever you say.
Love that.
We're a team, but I don't trust you.
Cheekra is just like, Cheekra thinks that they just acknowledge that they are defeated and ready to die. Why not acquiesce to their request?
You'll hear
Doc, you good with this?
You'll hear Doc kind of coughing, trying to, get the stuff out of his throat. Screw these guys.
Desh, you want me on the other guns?
Oh yeah.
All right.
How is Zethu feeling? You mentioned exhaustion.
Yeah, so Zethu, this I think this is good. So Ahesha, you're running up to the front, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as you get to the front and get into the co-pilot seat, and LS is like twiddling the computer and saying something about always with the murders, these kids. And you get into the co-pilot seat and you see Zethu just sort of like suddenly slump back in the co-pilot seat. And I think she's out.
Oh shit.
Hell of a time for a nap, Desh. All right.
Zethu, sweetie, I told you to get more sleep. I told you, and you wouldn't listen to me, and now look where we are.
My ship's my mom.
What do we call the droid?
LS.
LS. Hey, LS, you want to get the dock up here?
Of course. And she shunk disengages from the computer and wheels back out.
Yeah. While LS is doing that, does the ship need to be moved at all, or can I just go straight for the guns from where Zethu has us?
Based on where you are on the trajectory that you were flying, you can just hit the guns. After that, you will need to maneuver the ship because it no longer, at least temporarily, has a pilot.
Oh, absolutely. But my priority is murder. So I would like to pew pew.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
Tell me what action you're taking for that.
I would like to shoot the guns, which I think is scrap.
Yeah, you could either scrap or, again, this game is pretty broad. So if you wanted to, for example, tell me, oh, I want a helm, and I want to, be setting up my shot by maneuvering the ship, you could also choose to do that.
So I have the same
is a reasonable default for.
I have the same amount of dots in helm and scramble and scrap.
Cool. So yeah, let's say scrap.
All right, so that's just a 1d6.
All right, so you got a starting.
And I guess I would like to push myself.
Yeah, totally. So
Desh is out. So.
So your position is risky here. Your, the other ship is not doing well. You are, but you're set up in a good spot. And your effect, I think will be. I think you have good effect right now based on where you are. So, yeah. So if you succeed at this, you're going to be able to take this ship out.
Okay, so if I push myself, I get 1d6 and I take 2 stress.
Yes.
Okay. I'm at 3 total now. All right, Dice Tower, do your thing. 5.
5. Okay, so mixed success on our risky roll. Okay, so.
Oh, and just as a question, where does the gambit come in?
Oh, you can spend a gambit to gain another die on a roll. So if you wanted to spend a gambit and see if you could, do
I think it's worth it, y'all. You can take it out.
All right, cool. So you spent 1
That's
gambit.
another 5.
Okay. So same result. You are in you're in a mixed success situation. So what I'm going to say is you're going to have reduced effect here. You would have ticked 2 segments on the clock, but you're only going to tick 1 unless you make a roll to resist that consequence.
And I take so
the resistance roll is you're going to make a roll with one of your attributes vertically, and then you're going to take 6 stress minus the highest die.
Okay, I'm going to do...
Up to you if you want to do it, though.
Yeah. Prowess or insight? That is the question. Let's do insight. I'm going to use my knowledge of machines, basically, and ships especially.
You're an ace mechanic. You know ships inside and out. You know exactly where to put those shots to do the most damage.
There's a 6 in there.
Great.
I got a 6 and 2 2s.
So you're getting away with this with no stress. In fact, tell me what it looks like as you take these shots.
As I feel like somebody else who knows Star Wars visual should do this. The guns that have been until the secondary
feelings.
The secondary cannons, which until now have been quietly sitting there, burst to life in a quick blip and almost shutters the ship. But Ahesha's got one hand, like she's like sprawled across the board. Like, yeah, she's got the co-pilot stuff, but she's poking some stuff over where Desh is passed out. She's got a foot kicking some pedals over here, and she's like, "All right, I'm done with this." And she just slams down on whatever button pulls the trigger, and you see a blast of. Are these yellow too, Desh?
Yes.
You see a blast of yellow rain down in this wonderful daffodil colored storm.
And there's a distorted head on the holo of this Rhodian, this Pike Syndicate Rhodian, who says, "Damn you to hell, Desh!" and just fades out, and out the front window, you just see this ship just explode into tiny fragments as the Longshot whizzes straight through. And that's where we're going to break. So let's start with Zethu then.
I'm unconscious.
Yeah, so Zethu, you begin to sort of blurrily come to in the pilot's seat of your ship, the Longshot, and as the sort of cockpit swims into your vision, you can see out the side window the just last fiery fragments of the Corvette. To your side is Ahesha in the co-pilot's seat. And I think actually the droid R4LS went to get the doctor. So Ahesha, you notice Zethu coming to. She was just out for a couple of seconds. And Zethu, you're groggy. You feel hungover. I'm going to give you a harm. Level 1 harm, which we're just gonna call that
force sickness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna call that fatigue.
All right, fatigue it is. Ugh.
You back with us, Desh?
Yeah. What the crap happened?
I don't know. You decided to take a nap, but hey, good news. I finished your work for you.
Hey. Oh, man. LS, have drop some probes out there. Gather whatever scrap you can find. We'll check if there were any people on board with bounties on them. We'll collect on that dead or alive thing.
And the droid comes wheeling in with Dr. Gom in tow. Doctor, the droid popped out very agitated into the common area where I think you were just managing to recover your feet, and very excitedly ushered and shepherded you into the cockpit.
She's right here, Doctor. Listen, honey, sweetie, Zethu, baby, it's okay. I got the doctor. I wasn't so sure about bringing him on board initially because, more people, more mouths to feed, so on and so forth. But I think you're really going to want to have him take a look at you. He's just going to take a look. It's going to be fine. He's a very good doctor and a very handsome one.
You go plug yourself back into the mainframe.
Yes,
What about the probes?
I'll get the probes. It's always... Oh,
Mom!
It's never LS. Thank you for bringing a doctor after I passed out. It's always LS. Deploy the probes.
And she zoops over into the corner, chunks herself into the ship's system. And,
only you would find a
and starts twiddling around the little wheel that they always plug into.
Yeah, Ahesha turns to Zethu and says, only you would find the one ship with a droid that can guilt you.
So there's this phrase that like things come around sometimes. I thought the ship was going to be good for me, but I was also 17 and very stupid, and now I'm still paying for my mistakes.
Yeah. Well, you got a mom out of it, so.
I'm fine. I'm fine, doctor. I probably just hit a couple G's swerving that ship around.
Gom,
Sure,
what are
yeah.
you doing? You have a patient.
Well, first off, as LS is rolling away to go plug themselves back in, kind of give him a side eye, not just a mouth to feed, and then he'll a little dirty from his incident earlier. He'll shuffle around his we're gonna say not a fanny pack, but it's basically a fanny pack, and he's gonna pull out a flashlight and just kind of give Zethu a quick little knurl.
Check the pupil dilation.
Yeah, just
That could be hard to do considering my eyes have no color and like no visible pupil.
All right,
whatsoever.
so then he'll start to do that, and then he'll go, how many fingers am I holding up?
3.
All right, fly ship probably.
Thank you for that vote and confidence.
Hey, Doc, you sure you're a doc?
Fine. He'll just give her a quick thorough checkup then.
Cool.
It's a quick one. I mean, she clearly she says she's fine.
Yeah, I'm just saying, imagine if I mechanicsed that way.
Let's have an action roll.
Sure, yeah. I think a doctor check applies here.
Yeah. So, the skill, I think, very straightforward is going to be doctor. You are you're in a controlled position as the danger is past, and you are you're not under immediate threat or pressure. You have time to do your examination as you would, and I think your effect for this will be standard.
Sure. I'll roll my 2d6. 2 4s. So 4.
Okay, cool. So let's see. There's going to be a minor consequence.
There's a chest burster. We've changed genres.
What's an interesting minor consequence? I think the minor consequence is Zethu looks fine to you in a way that she shouldn't. Like all of these sort of physical kind of benchmarks that you're looking for are completely 100% okay, and none of them correspond in any way to somebody who just passed out. Reason.
Sure, right.
So the consequence is, she's fine, but you think there's something fishy about Zethu now.
So he'll finish his quick eval, number thing, test reflexes, pulse, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of lean back and yeah, you're good to go.
And
you pass out often?
Wouldn't you like to know? It's just Zethu kind of like evading the question. I don't think she gives any straight answers to any like point blank questions about her.
Yeah. So I'm going to say this advances. Well, no, this actually removes level 1 harm. Okay, so this will remove level 1 harm, and Zethu, you're going to start to, feel normal
unfatigued
as the doctor is examining you.
All right. Okay, not that I don't love myself a good asteroid field, but we got a job to do and I want my money. So let's say we get out of here. LS, you got me the scrap?
Yeah, little guys are bringing it back to the ship right now.
All right. She's I think because Zethu's going to give time for like the little probes to come back in with any tags or debris, which she'll check over later with her contacts at the Bounty Hunters Guild to see if anyone had anything out on anybody in the Pike Syndicate that might have been on that ship, dead or alive, and
Totally.
get a little extra credit.
So I'm going to make a note that you have collected the salvage from Pike Syndicate Corvette.
Yep. And then she's gonna queue up for the jump to Lightspeed because I want to know where specifically we were setting our coordinates for our actual job.
I would also like to know this.
Oh,
So,
you're going to let me decide?
Tell
'Cause
me.
That seems bad.
tell me, my players, what planet or other location have you tracked your quarry to that you were en route to when you were intercepted by the Pike Syndicate in this asteroid field? You're in the system already, where this thing is.
Can I make a planet up?
If you want, yeah, you can make a planet up. You can pick any existing Star Wars thing that you would like.
I mean, I don't know.
It's entirely open to the group.
Y'all might want something existing. I just had a Star Wars name generator up, so I can give you a
cute.
name if you want a fake one. Not a fake one, if you want a made up one.
Ooh, I have a suggestion from a giant nerd.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Ord Mantell. It's nerdy enough that I, as a Star Wars dork, don't know that.
I only know Ord Mantell from the Old Republic
Mhm.
game.
I don't
have a-
remember playing. I know I played it. I don't remember it.
Do you want, cycling back around to some behind the scenes conversation, we could roll for it. I have some suggestions of different planets if we want to decide where it was that we were on our way towards.
Let's roll for it. So let's get a couple of suggestions up. Let's get at least 4 so we can roll a d4. And then we'll do a little roll for it. So our first suggestion is Ord Mantell.
I get my fancy D4 out.
Dantooine?
Dantooine, cool, like that.
Chat?
Yeah,
chat, give us one.
Yeah, let's get something from chat. I would love something.
Chelinator. It is a crime planet, or at least it was. Because Old Republic takes place in the Old Republic. So actually, something interesting to talk about that we haven't talked about before. David, when is our game set?
Yes. So we are currently in the years after the fall of the Empire. The rebellion has been victorious and shattered the Galactic Empire, and is currently governing the galaxy as the reconstituted New Republic. The New Republic is trying to consolidate its power. This is about 5 to 10 years after the second Death Star was blowed up, and
That went great for my people.
yeah,
Well, one of the
Super great.
suggestions we have here from chat is Endor.
yeah. So we're putting Endor on there.
You
I
savages.
could go with a classic of going to Coruscant as our last
Coruscant,
option.
Sure. Okay. However, there are all of these little remnants and bits of the Empire. Moths who have taken their little fiefdoms, former fleet commanders who took their part of the fleet and went off into the far reaches or the outer rim. Little governors of specific planets who were loyal to the Empire and now have set themselves up as little warlords. So there are all these little pockets of the old Empire after it's been shattered all over the galaxy. You are very specifically tracking down an engineer who is said to be working for one of these Imperial remnants. This is, as we saw in our opening crawl, Vel Karos, who is some sort of mysterious engineering genius that the Republic Security Bureau has identified as a person of interest and has put out a bounty on. You have very little information about them. What is known is that they are working for a remnant of the Imperial 17th Fleet under Admiral Malthus, who has commissioned, perhaps, Karos to construct some sort of new super weapon. There is a bounty on the head of Velkaros for 35 million credits if they are brought back to the New Republic forces alive. There's another bounty for Velkaros's bodyguard, somebody by the name of Zarya, who is rumored to be a very fearsome warrior, who there's chatter that she has some sort of supernatural powers or something like that, weird superstitions and rumors floating around. But there's also a bounty on her head, dead or alive, 15 million credits.
Sounds like some sort of hokey religion.
So you've tracked.
Yeah.
Oh wait, was that also 35 million?
15.
35
15?
million for
What about
Velkaros
dead?
alive. No reward dead. 15 million for
Typical Republic.
Zarya, dead or alive. So you've
Our murder
tracked,
bear has plans.
You've tracked the two of them to a planet, which you are currently on course for. Let's find out which one. Give me a roll.
Yeah.
Can I roll?
All right. Oh, you're rolling?
Somebody,
Okay.
somebody give me a D4.
I've got a rainbow D4 that's ripped and ready to go. It hates
Yeah.
players. It's a 1.
It's a 1. Ord Mantell.
Ooh.
So you're currently on course for Ord Mantell. You're in the system, and you are headed there. You can go to hyperspace, take your time, whatever you want. But we are currently out of our job phase and in downtime. So the way that Scum and Villainy works is you have two main phases of the game. You have the job phase, which we just did, our exciting space battle, and then you have downtime, where your characters get to rest, recover, work on personal projects, and indulge their vices. In between those two, we have free play, which is your general free role play, which can pop up at any time in the game, regardless of phase.
Oh my.
So the way that I want to deal with, oh boy, just glad to get chat. Artistically inclined, we'll figure something out. So the way that I want to deal with downtime is it's going to be sort of a little bit of a back and forth. I will give you an opportunity where I will say, hey, you can take downtime here, the way you might take a rest in D&D or something to that effect. If you feel like it, go ahead, do it, or feel free to say to me, hey, it feels like we want to pause here. Let's take a downtime, because it feels like we're in a good spot. So as the ship travels on its way to Ord Mantell, you're going to have an opportunity to take some downtime. Does the group want to do that?
Sure.
Cool. All right. So we got some downtime procedures. First step, payoff. So if you did a paying job, you get credits, and you get goodwill from a faction that you helped, and you let's see, you get goodwill from a faction that you helped out, and you can earn a cred reward, and you have to pay your ship's upkeep. So you were not doing this job for any particular faction, so you're not going to get any increase with any factions.
Well,
Not even people that don't like the Pike Syndicate?
I was about to say, if we're getting into downtime, I feel like Zethu is sitting up in her cockpit, like looking at like scraps of like any dog tags and identifiers while putting a call into any contacts at the Bounty Hunters Guild, basically being like, do we have any open bounties for the following? And don't ask me how I have these names.
That's cool.
Apropos of nothing.
Yeah, just curious.
Sure. So let's say let's do a fortune roll for this.
Okay.
So
that's the 1d6.
Yeah. So with other fortune rolls, let me get the procedures here. Okay. So okay. So you're gonna have one die for each trait mark that you're using. So,
well, I think we did a lot of prowess in that one. Yeah. I'd say we blew up a ship.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 3 dice.
Okay. Yeah. So this is going to be fortune based on your violence just done. So
wow, that's 333.
You can also take a die for advantages, and you lose dice for disadvantages. I don't think there's any particular disadvantages here, and I also don't think there's any particular advantages. So 3 3s?
Yep.
Okay, so it's a bad result. Little effect. You call it in on the HoloNet. You get in touch with the Bounty Hunters Guild. I think maybe there's like a database or a board that you can look through and see if you can find any names. And you're not finding any matches, unfortunately. The people on this ship were just some small to medium level Pike Syndicate enforcers who were sent after you. All you did was steal some guns. They will kill you, but they're not going to send their best people to do it.
Hey, Rude. You never know. Criminals usually they got bounties on their heads too. All right.
But
she just tosses the tags up over her shoulder like, oh well, at least there's...
What about the salvage?
Yeah, you can get some cred for the salvage.
Oh yeah.
So I think...
I can't sell it here though.
I think you can essentially, if you get in touch with someone on Ord Mantell, who's like a junker, somebody who has a junkyard on the planet, you can sell what you got for. I think this is somewhere between a small and a minor job, so you can get 3 cred for that.
All
and
right.
Cred, just to be clear, is an abstraction of credits. So the...
Do you want to put that in the overall crew cred?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So let's see, that's a crew cred.
Oh, nice.
So cred is an abstraction compared to the specific number of credits that I told you about for those bounties, which are like concrete. Those are like real numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Got it?
All right, so wait, does that go on our personal sheets or on the crew sheet?
It goes to the crew, and you can split it up as you see fit. So you can keep it in the crew. You can like keep it in the crew's bank, or you can distribute it to the crew. So you should have, right, I believe, 4 cred currently.
Yeah, that's what I have.
Cool. And you're gonna have to spend every downtime. You're gonna have to spend 1 cred on your ship's upkeep,
So that
unless
puts
you
us
want to
at 3.
skip, which you can do, but it's gonna make things increasingly risky for you.
I never skip the upkeep of my baby.
You'd never hear the
Not
end of
my
it
ship.
from LD.
Yeah, LS would never let you.
Is upkeep different than repair?
Yes. So
Okay.
upkeep is just about paying the regular costs associated with running your ship. You know, it's like buying gas.
Yeah. You
Okay.
It looks like you only have to mark how many times you skip versus how many times you actually do the upkeep.
Yes.
Gotcha.
If you do the upkeep, you don't mark a skip. But if you
Awesome.
get too many skips, bad things will happen. Repair is a different process, which you only
So
need
we're
to do when
spending-
things get damaged.
Understood.
So we're spending 1 cred on the upkeep.
Mhm.
Mark that
Uh,
on.
so you should have 3 creds for the crew total.
Mhm.
So now we move on to part 2. After a job or conflict, the crew takes heat. So let's see. Okay, so I think your basic heat here is this is standard. Like you did this they intercepted you in the middle of nowhere. Nobody saw this happen.
No one can prove anything in court.
There were no witnesses, but for sure
Well, technically, there were witnesses. We just
there are no
dealt with the
living
issue.
witnesses.
Except on this ship.
There are no living witnesses who are not also guilty.
Fair.
Don't you lawyer
Are you a
me.
witness? Are you a witness if you're also the
Perpetrator?
The
I
perpetrator?
don't think so.
No, that's not.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to be,
Let me consult my lawyer. I don't know.
I am not your lawyer.
None of this should be construed as legal advice. So
I'm glad he said it 9.5.
Flights of Fandom does not present itself as a legal source, and
Oh
we are
my
not your
God.
lawyers. In fact, everything we say should probably be taken with a grain of salt, and it would likely result in your imprisonment. Thank you. Have a good day. Thank you for watching.
and that's
We
our
get that on
official
record.
You'd think with the name Flights of Fandom, they would assume we make up the laws.
I mean, one would think.
So
Remember, we're playing out fan fiction.
so you've got 2 heat because this is 100% gonna get back to
Cool.
the Pike Syndicate. They will know their ship
Where-
is gone. They will know who did it. But again, nobody saw it except you.
Also, where do we mark heat? And why can't I find it?
Yeah, I was looking for that. I came back.
Is heat tracked?
I'm just gonna put it in my
I
notes.
assume so. Otherwise,
Yeah.
we wouldn't have our special ability licensed. Take -2 heat from a legitimate.
That's
mounting
right.
range.
We have we have it's a little a badge here.
Yeah.
My little file that I like
Little badge.
without it just in bad handwriting says I can do whatever I want.
Yeah,
I
I
do
have
what I
no
want.
clue where you're supposed to put heat.
I just wrote it down the
Oh, there's
old-fashioned way.
cred.
Under
Like,
notes
I found
and
cred and
projects.
dead. I did not find heat.
Yeah, we're gonna make sure. We're just gonna make a note and then we'll figure it out in between. So you got 2 heat currently, and then we move on to entanglements.
Ooh.
So yeah, because heat should contribute to your wanted level.
Mac Mouse, how is that working out for you?
I don't know. All right.
Well, even if they're in jail, they're on the internet, so it can't be that bad.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay. So we're doing
maybe
we're doing
minimum
a roll
security.
for entanglements.
Hmm.
So we're going to roll 1d6, and
All right.
we're going to look at a table for wanted level 0 because you do not have a wanted level currently.
All right, are you rolling? Are we rolling? What's happening?
I can roll. Somebody else want to roll? I'll roll. I haven't rolled
Oh,
anything yet.
roll away.
feel like we should spread the
Yeah.
rolling around.
Mm-hmm.
That one's on the floor.
I heard it.
It's
It's
5.
gone forever.
Right.
Interesting.
Oh boy.
That's never a word you want to
Why
hear
did we
out of
make
a
the
DM's
DM
mouth.
roll?
Don't like that.
Well, this is listed as the entanglement is listed as cooperation. I am not sure how to interpret this. How do we want to
They
interpret?
cooperated very well.
Cooperation.
By dying.
They died when we shot them.
But what is the purpose of an entanglement? How about that first? I'm not entirely sure I get it.
So entanglements are fallout from the job that make your lives more interesting going forward.
So did the Pike Syndicate just go, fair enough?
Well, why would it be
Touche.
interesting unless they're like, okay, well, we'll let you keep it, but now you work for us.
Yeah, they might have a job in future. That they
Like-
wouldn't say no.
Because that's what I'm thinking cooperation means is that, all right, we won't get mad at you, but you owe us or something.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, I
This
can
is-
kind of
this
see
is
it. Like, think about it, like you know, when like it's a fairly classic trope of it's like kind of like, I don't know, two super toxic masculinity dudes are like, "Bleh, bleh, 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 bleh," and then one of them like says something stupid, and the other one punches them, and he's like, fair enough, I'll let you have that one. This is the crime syndicate version of that.
This is an interesting situation we found ourselves in, because I'm going to be honest, I just said Pike Syndicate because it was the first Star Wars crime organization that popped into my little brain, but I realized who might actually run it right now as a canon character.
Whoops.
That's fine.
And fiction.
Okay. Well, is this secret information?
No, I just wanted to know how many people actually watched the Solo movie, because I'm a weirdo who just retains Star Wars
Oh yeah,
knowledge.
good call. Wait, was
Oh,
It's Kira.
that the Pike
Kira
Syndicate?
runs
Whoops.
the Pike Syndicate. Yeah,
I thought that was the Crimson Dawn.
they all
No.
work together. Do you know
Yeah,
who they
so-
work for?
So,
Okay.
so the Pike Syndicate is affiliated with the
Trivia.
Spice Cartel, which is
Yes.
affiliated with Crimson Dawn.
And who's
Right.
affiliated with? It all comes around, comes around.
Okay.
I do not want to bog this stream down with my weird encyclopedic Star Wars knowledge about who works for who and when and why and how it all comes together. But
Okay.
yeah, I would do a job for
Um.
Daenerys Targaryen. Not to combine universes.
God damn it.
Okay.
Oh, this is gonna be
So the Pike Syndicate is gonna let this one slide, but they will be back, and they will demand your cooperation in the future,
are
and
they
we'll see how that goes.
are they planning on
Yeah.
fucking paying?
Certainly not.
That's
Out of here.
All right.
Cheekra does not approve of this arrangement.
So that's
Cheekra thinks they could go bust it.
that's in the bag. And then we
it could have
have
just led with that.
downtime activities. So everybody gets 2 downtime activities, which are personal needs and projects. You can take additional activities by spending 1 cred for each extra action. Everybody recovers all their armor, which nobody used.
Is this the crunchiest game we've played?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I love it.
For sure. And then there's other stuff. So your possible downtime activities are you can try to acquire something, you can try to get an asset, you can craft, you can build something, you can indulge your vice, which everybody needs to do to clear stress, otherwise you're going to continue bringing your stress forward, which you can do if you want. You can lay low to reduce heat and wanted level. You can work on a long-term project. You can recover harm. You can repair the ship, or you can train to gain some XP. So, what is everybody doing with their downtime? Should I just go around the group, see what everybody's doing? Okay, so we're in the moments, immediately after what we just described. Gom, you're packing your medical tools back into your little fanny pack. Zethu, you're sort of starting to come back to normal in the pilot's seat. Ahesha, you're in the cockpit as well. Cheekra, you're still up in the turret. So let's start with Cheekra. Cheekra, what do you want to do? You have a couple of hours until you hit Ord Mantell.
So, real question. Can I, if my vice require is not exactly time-consuming, but for instance, if I wanted to get real high on, traditional Ewok ritual herbs, could I then also try it? This is very good question that Cheekra is simply asking.
You can do 2 activities, so yes.
Oh, Cheekra is gonna get high and shoot guns.
Oh my god. So dangerous.
Have you met me?
Cool. So you're indulging your vice and you're training. So
I think that so like Cheekra definitely has a little bit of an addiction problem, and deals with stress by basically getting stoned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are you just like, you climb out of the turret and you're like, time to get high?
I think Cheekra is like,
fucking blaze it, kids. See you later.
I think it's like a little bit more dignified than that, but as dignified as an adorable teddy bear that's full of murder can be when they go and like, it's definitely smoking some sort of native Endorian herb in a way that probably irritates LS, because it's like, oh, well, it's in the air filtration systems and blah, 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 blah. And Cheekra's like, I do not care.
We have to run the air filtration systems overtime every time you light up one of those things.
And then I have to hear about it.
Cheap.
It sounds like a personal problem to me.
And she, shakes her little droid dome and moves off to another part of the ship.
I think, I guess, question for, holy shit, I forgot Marcy's character's name.
Zethu.
You should just change Zach's name. It's killing me. All right, Zethu, what is our cargo bay situation like? What's that like? Am I just shooting? Because Cheekra's about to go blow off some steam. I assume there's a place where I can shoot things safely.
It's not a huge ship, so you can take one of the smaller blaster pistols, but no rifles. Nothing too terribly military grade, and you will shoot the regular empty crates without the spare parts and without the stolen weapons that I think are probably locked in there's probably a boarded up portion under the floors where she hides more of the illicit goods.
So
you're small enough, you'll be fine. If you shoot any blaster holes into my ship, I will eject your furry little behind out into space, and I will deal with the consequences later.
Cheekra has dealt with worse. I think we cut to Cheekra down in the cargo hold with Cheekra basically sleeps on a bed of guns. They have no chill. But there's and specifically you see them like petting, kind of high, petting a grenade launcher, just being like, soon, my sweet.
Which other crew member, which one of you comes in while Cheekra is taking their high as fuck target practice in the cargo bay?
I'll say I do. Gom does as he's
Yes.
changing shirts.
Sure.
Just sees him. What's that smell? Is that me?
It is religion.
He'll walk over. Is it like a? It's like a. Is it rolled up? Is it a joint?
I honestly, like, I wasn't gonna make. I was gonna make it an adorable little hobbit pipe, but I've been going back and forth between just a straight up. It's just space weed. Yeah, it's space weed. I think Cheeker's probably like finds random paper from like, or any sort of like paper like substance.
I think it should be leaves, like it gets
specifically
rolled
leaves.
in dried leaves.
Is it like a really traditional Cuban cigar
Yeah.
kind of deal where it's like leaves rolled in leaves?
Yeah.
Hell yes. All right, cool. So yeah, it's just like a little joint, and
Ewok sized joint.
yeah.
Yeah, so Gom was on his way somewhere else, but he'll actually walk over and to get a closer look at what you're doing, and he'll just kind of look inquisitively. Do you share in your religion?
Cheeker just kind of gives you an and this is the worst part about my murder baby is it just he's so goddamn adorable. Every time they look up at you, it's just like he's a cuddly little teddy bear.
He's a murder teddy bear.
And just turns and just like shoots off like basically like a light blaster, and you just hear the rapport in the fucking car. Just like, I don't know you very well, but the great trees, they shelter all like yes or some shit here. And hands you what is basically like a tiny little cigar.
So Gom is obviously real tense right now, just sort of getting shot at. Take it, try it. I like your religion, and you'll hand it back.
So I'm gonna let both of you roll to indulge a vice here. You can roll dice equal to your lowest attribute. So whatever you have the least vertical dots in.
Insight. So I got a 1. I got 1d6.
2 for me.
All right.
Oh, that's a 6.
4.
Cool. So you can clear the number of stress points that you rolled.
Oh yeah.
Oh, wow.
Apparently, getting high and shooting shit is super cathartic.
Cheekra, you can mark an XP for either your playbook or any of your 3 attributes. Probably prowess in this situation, or your general playbook XP. Gom, what do you want to do for your other downtime activity?
So, well, Gom was gonna spend one of his activities to go clean up his mess. But now that maybe he's a little buzzed, maybe he won't do that. And I think he'll just chill and try to recover from his spake sickness harm from earlier. So I think he'll just relax.
Yeah. So
maybe watch Cheekra just fire off at the wall.
I think so level 1 harm goes away automatically with the recover activity. So I think as you take a good toke of this gnarly space weed, you feel relaxed, your nausea starts to subside a little bit, and we get this nice scene of the two of you just chilling against the crates, smoking, and Cheekra occasionally firing off random not random. Actually, probably very precise blaster shots at a crate across the car.
I imagine it's kind of impressive. Like it's definitely like a loosely psychotropic. It's kind of I'm kind of picturing halfway between peyote and weed. So it's actually really impressive. The sheer like the accuracy with which this tiny little savage is hitting like a pretty small target consistently.
Yeah. All right. So
Yeah, Gom's even cheering you on. Nice shot. Nice shot.
So we pull back from that little scene, and we're back up in the cockpit. Zethu and Ahesha, we will hit your downtime activities at the top next time, because I think what's going to happen at this point is you're going to get another holo call on the console in the cockpit. You have a contact on Ord Mantell who has some information, is going to be able to help you track where on the planet this engineer is. Who is it?
Ooh.
Well, I have an idea.
Uh-huh.
1 second. It's an old friend of Ahesha's, somebody who was in the Rebel Alliance military with her. The person's name is Caden Beale, and he seems very happy to see her. And just for everyone else's edification, Ahesha is what I have dubbed a shimbo. She is strong, she is smart, she is smart. She's brawny, and she's basically the Togruta version of Thor, and she just needs her lesbian best friend.
She's machine smart.
She's machine smart.
Full
but
stop,
she also
period, end of sentence.
Yeah. Caden is, you know how I mentioned that she has exes everywhere?
Yeah,
some ended
so
well,
I'm
some didn't.
in quotes here.
This one ended well. Yeah. So sometimes people like what you can do.
Cool. So tell me a little about Caden. What is Caden's personality like? What do they look like?
So
who do we see pop up on that little holo display?
Caden is, because I love doing this, Caden is someone you would expect to be the himbo, right? He's tan, he's got brownish blonde hair, or like in delightfully tousled curls, classically good looking. Definitely somebody who you would see rise in military ranks and be like, oh yeah, I bet he earned it, when you really just mean he's really good looking and probably deserves success. This is exactly the kind of guy, but he is genuinely charming and friendly, and looks out for his friends. And so he is in a universe of shady characters, probably actually a good person.
Cool. So that's who we see pop up on the holo, and he looks, I think, uncharacteristically concerned as he starts the call. Ahesha. Hey. Good to see your face. I know we were supposed to get in touch a little later on, but had to move up the call. I ran into some trouble down here.
What's up?
Listen, I don't have much time. I can't say much. We gotta move our meeting, okay? I'll be able to send you coordinates later on, but I'm not gonna be able to meet you at the spaceport anymore. Things have gotten too hot down here. They're after me, and I don't know how much longer. And you hear blaster shots off from the side, and you just get this one like quick glance of Caden apparently drawing his sidearm as the holo cuts out to static, which is where we're going to end tonight.
Well, shit.
So, There's more procedural stuff in for end of session in Scum and Villainy, which I think we can go over super quick before we call it an evening. We're gonna figure out some XP from our last job. Everybody's playbook has some XP triggers. You'll see that you can mark XP every time you have rolled a desperate action. You can mark it in that action's attribute. And then at the end of every session, you're going to mark 1 or 2 XP based on the criteria at the bottom of your playbook. So I don't want to linger on this too much. I'll let each of you do it individually. But
Did
I
we
want to
roll a
discuss
desperate action?
Well, yeah. What's a desperate action?
So if you're
That's the position.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if you rolled an action where you were in a desperate position, which I think only Wesley, only
I
Gom
did.
did.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
So-
yeah, well, I was looking at the window.
Yeah. So you can mark an XP for insight because you rolled a desperate action under study. I'll let everybody deal with their individual XP because we're running short on time. But let's go over our crew XP for the ship. So for each item, we're gonna mark 1 experience. So you executed a successful extraction operation or capture of a bounty. I'm gonna say no.
Mm-hmm.
You contended with challenges above your current station. I'm gonna say no. You were pretty well matched to those Pike Syndicate goons. They didn't really outclass you. You bolstered your crew's reputation or developed a new one. Your crew reputation is for daring, and I think you pulled off some daring maneuvers in that space fight.
Yeah.
So mark an XP for that. And finally, you express the goals, drives, inner conflict, or essential nature of the crew. What do we think about that?
My
Murder
printer
time.
definitely cut some
Murder
stuff
rating?
off.
Well, we're pretty reckless
Yeah.
and don't piss us
Daring.
off.
Thank you. Daring.
I think so. Like,
But also
You-
reckless in murder time.
you know exactly what this crew is about. Like,
Mhm. Yeah, I think we put on a display that told us about this crew. So mark an
where
XP
does
for
crew
that.
XP go?
1 XP.
It's on the ship sheet on the bottom right.
Oh, thank you.
Couple bubbles
So-
showing.
So are we 1 XP or 2?
So you should have
We have 2
you should now have
XP.
2 crew XP. And then in between sessions, you can distribute your individual XP as our crew continues to advance. So when we come back next week, we will see the crew reach Ord Mantell. We'll figure out, hopefully, what's going on with Caden Beale, and maybe we'll get some more clues as to the location of your bounty when we come back next time
Woo.
here on Flights of Fandom, a long shot. Thanks again for joining us, everybody in chat, for this first episode. Episode 2 is going to be up at 8 p.m. Eastern Time next Tuesday. And once again, I have been your GM, David. If you want to check out what I do, you can go on over to dbb-8.itch.io. And I have been joined by...
Me. Yo, what's up? It's me, Hopper, your resident trash person. What's up? I can be found at I can be found on social media at Fail Deadly, and that's with a 3 instead of an E, as always, because I'm a bad person. But also you can find me here every Tuesday, pretty much, and every other Sunday on the Hole in the World stream. I almost said podcast. The Hole in the World stream, which is a Invisible Sun live play, and it is wacky and wild. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, next week is our finale.
I do believe so.
And holy shit, if you want some surreal, wacky, bizarre, I don't know, wacky is not actually right. It's actually like deep, visceral, emotional, kind of like intense shit that's also super surreal. Anyways, that shit's awesome. Check it out. And also hope to see you next Tuesday.
And as always, I've been Marcy, aka Experimental Madness. You can also find me around the internet under that name, except for Twitter, where you can find me at Marciful. You can always find me here on ManaPot Studios Tuesdays for Flights of Fandom. And as Hopper said, also every other Sunday, and this Sunday at 4:30 Eastern Time for our season finale. It's a good excuse to binge all of the episodes and get caught up because some good stuff is going to be coming up for season 2. I'll have more info on when that is going to happen, possibly next week.
And I am and have been Puja. You can find me at Puja on Twitter or at Pujabberwocky on Instagram. And you'll find me here on Tuesdays doing all sorts of different Flights of Fandom. Every other Friday, including this one, you can find me on the same channel playing Constantinople by Night, which is a basically a Dark Ages Vampire the Masquerade game where I play in Indian Gothic vampire because I wanted to. And then on Mondays, you can find me on the Wandering DMs Twitch channel playing Castle Falkenstein. And that's all I can manage with my sanity right now, but I'm sure there will be more at some point. So I'll see all of you around on the internet.
And I'm Wesley. You can find me on social medias as Horniest Lobster.
This is so good.
It's the best name.
Love it so much. It's so good.
Take it again. Can I hear it?
Excuse me. Not involved in any other projects or anything, but you can usually find me in Twitch chat watching streams here at ManaPot Studios as Missouri. If you like cats or sports or K-pop, hit me up on social media. But that's my life.
All right. Thanks again, everyone, for joining us. We will see you next time, and may the force be with you.